All right, so today we're going to be talking about how to make viral content that predictably prints cash. Okay, you probably think, if you're not going viral, you're not printing cash right now, you probably think that your problem is the ideas or the editing or some kind of other mystery or tactical thing. That's the reason you're not getting the views and the money that you want. But what actually is happening is you don't have a system, okay? You're posting random stuff, random ideas, random emotions. You don't have a proper posting schedule or cadence or really core message, okay? There's no real substance. That's a big thing that grabs people and pulls them into your ecosystem, okay? You're not pulling people into your ecosystem. You're not indoctrinating people. Right now, you're just posting randomly. That is happening. I guarantee it's happening if you're not getting the followers you want, the views you want, or the money you want, okay? So the truth is, content is only going to print when it's engineered around a single avatar and a single core message. I talk about this on the channel all of the time, okay? The content itself then multiplies both of those things, okay? So you dial these in. You have a singular person you're trying to reach, and you have a singular core message that you're reaching that person with. Then you multiply that core message and that avatar and all of that with your ammo, with your principles of content. Basically, we are going to manufacture ammo that you're going to launch into the algorithm that pulls them into your brand, gets them to view your stuff, and then eventually gets them to buy your thing. So every idea within each category of this content system should directly tie back to that core message and that avatar in some way. Whether it's covering the enemy, we cover the enemy where we talk about 9-to-5 jobs and the system and how it's not going to make you free and that sort of thing. Okay, that's an enemy. The mechanism, our mechanism is propaganda. As an example, we are running propaganda. That's what you're going to be doing. Or the consequence. If you don't run propaganda, you don't do this, you're not going to get the views, you're not going to get the money that you want. And the dream outcome, obviously, in the case for us, is you make way more money with your social media, with your brand, all of that. You need to define these for yourself. And if it doesn't tie back into any of those, okay, then it's not going to work. It's not going to perform. It's not going to make you the money that you want to make. So let's run through all of the pillars. One is lifestyle. You have to show those spoils of the thing that you're great at. The mechanism that you have, the thing that you do, you need to show the spoils of war in that regard. So broadcast how you live, how you work, how you train, how you travel. Your life itself is physical propaganda. It is lifestyle marketing. A lot of people only do lifestyle marketing and they miss a whole segment of the market that is looking for other stuff. And we'll talk about what those other things are in just a minute. But lifestyle is a piece. It doesn't just have to be a car. It doesn't just have to be a watch. It has to be how you live. Okay, so your image is very important. Okay, you can see there's some imagery here of me from my personal brand that, really captures the essence of who I am, what I do. Two is value. Okay, you need to give people tactics that actually add value to their life and help them get to the dream outcome. So in our case, the value that I'm giving you right now is how to run propaganda and the content pieces to it, which is going to help you make a lot more money. So clear tactical lessons. You need to be teaching one thing at a time with this, okay? So you should make them feel smarter just by consuming your videos. This is indoctrination through expertise. If you watch this video and you actually implement all these pillars, you will see that I have expertise in this because it works. All of our clients use this. Everyone that you've seen on this channel, on our testimonials page, uses this exact step-by-step, okay? So don't tell them how to do it, only tell them what to do. I am not sitting here telling you exact step-by-step, do this, do that, click this button, blah, blah, blah. Our clients get that. But I am telling you what to do. And what you should be doing is doing some value stuff in there. So you can see me here, picture me at the laptop. This is a little bit lifestyle kind of mixed in as well. Sometimes they cross over. Sometimes you have value. Sometimes, you have a little bit of lifestyle. Sometimes you have some storytelling, all mixed into one piece of content. Next, okay, authenticity. You need to strip down the mask, the facade that you're putting out there. Everybody likes to pretend they're somebody on social media that they aren't actually. You try to be the perfect person. But when you get vulnerable, you get raw, you get unfiltered, okay, and you show yourself with all your flaws, your habits, everything, somebody can connect with you a lot better. You are a lot more relatable, okay? So don't over polish what you're doing. Don't over edit it. Don't overdo it. People don't want to follow someone that's fake. They want to follow someone that shares the same beliefs and is relatable. Okay, so if you have a facade, kill it. Okay, people are going to reject it, and you need to actually show who you are, your authenticity. So again, here's just some pictures of me in authentic, kind of candid, whatever environment, that sort of thing. Next, going viral. You need to be detonating culture bombs, is what we say. You know, you need to look at these guys, these streamers that are blowing up, that are getting clipped. They are indoctrinating these younger audiences, because that's predominantly who's scrolling, watching these clips. And what they're doing is injecting new cultural ideas into people's mind. Okay? So this is one-liners, this is hot takes, polarity. And as long as you believe it, it's okay. Like if you're just saying things to get attention, that's a problem. As long as you believe the controversial thing that you're saying, you are fine. So these are ideas designed to spread conflict and shock and awe, but that also brings you a lot of new eyeballs, a lot of new attention, a lot of new interest. Okay, so these are viral angles and assets that are designed to reach the masses and also overwhelm the algorithm. You can see this right here. This did probably a few 100,000 views. I don't have it on here, obviously, but 1.6K likes, and it's very controversial for the average person. College is the absolute worst setup for young females. I go into the whole thing. Their value drops day by day, blah, blah, blah. Made people pretty mad, but it got me a bunch of followers, likes, views, etc. Now, authority and proof. You need to be showing your receipts, your screenshots, your numbers, your testimonials, your case studies, all of that. Every person who shows their past kind of like victories and wins and that sort of thing is cementing themselves as the guy in their niche, the guy that gets it done, the guy with undeniable proof that the thing that they're selling works. If you don't have that, you're competing against a ton of other people that have that proof. It's going to be very hard for you to sell consistently. You can sell without it. Like if you're at zero and you're trying to launch a program, an offer, a service of some kind, of course you're going to have to sell without it. Ideally, you have your own proof, your own result, and then you can sell a little bit. But the further piece is undeniable proof of clients and people that purchase from you also getting the result. So you need to have receipts. You need to flex your wins. Flexing isn't just about the material items you have. Like you can do that and sprinkle it in very tastefully, like I said, in lifestyle. But the bigger flex is client results, is people achieving the end dream outcome. If people can achieve the dream outcome and you have proof of that, that is huge, because then people say, I believe that this person can actually help me. Next is storytelling, okay? Your stories are installing your identity into people's minds, okay? Your hero's journey, your failures, your battles fought, that sort of thing. People remember stories, they do not remember tips. Because so if you're making a lot of selfie videos, you're sitting there, tip, here's this tip, that tip, here's this little tactical thing, that's fine. But people don't necessarily remember that. They remember stories that they relate to. So you need to be telling yours always, all the time, multiple ways until they are saying it back to you. They show up to a sales call and they're recalling the story that you told 4 months ago on a podcast because you clipped it up 10 times. That's what you need to be doing. Here's an example of an exact story. I said Winter Arc 2025. This is an Instagram post, okay, caption. Next is community. You need to have an army, okay? So little wins, some insider stuff, some inside jokes, kind of naming the movement. We do this very well. You can see we call it propaganda. We have little jokes like the 2 steaks per day. Our podcast was called The Associates. Naming things and getting people in your ecosystem that respond to these kind of community elements. Very important. They need to feel kind of like soldiers almost, that are a part of something a lot bigger than who they are. It's something that they relate to and they're buying into it. They're buying into your message. They're buying into the community. They're there getting involved, basically. They're almost spreading your message for you when they get into the community, because then they start posting on their stories, they tweet about it, that sort of thing. So this is little trends and ideas and inside jokes that only your core followers would know. And everybody you see right here, which is, these are clients of ours, has at least one of these, has at least one little joke or similar like that. Next is direct CTAs. You do not make money without telling people where to go, where to click. Okay, you need to direct them to a destination. So within all these pieces of content that we've been talking about so far, the community stuff, the storytelling, the authority, the viral stuff, the authenticity, the value, okay, the lifestyle, we need to be telling people where to go. You should probably have two things. You should have like a free thing, like a lead magnet, like we have our propaganda playbook. You should also have the actual thing where they apply or they purchase, depending on your offer. Like maybe you have a low ticket offer, you send them directly to the checkout page. Maybe it's a high ticket offer, you want them to apply and book a call first. It's always going to depend on that, but you should have these two avenues. You should have a free avenue where they can be indoctrinated a little bit more. This should go in your more top of funnel stuff, like your very viral stuff. Your storytelling stuff that goes and does a bunch of numbers, right? You really want to pull people into the ecosystem. And then this should be, on top of like the more niche posts, the stuff that's like only your followers would know, results, that sort of thing, okay? Something simple, very commanding, and very constant. You need multiple of these a day, and it ties into the dream outcome. Your promise is that they're going to get the dream outcome. So you can see the CTA here I did for our playbook. By the way, you can grab that below, which details the entire system way more in depth. But basically, I said, look, here's some proof. 20,000 people have gotten the original one. Now this is the new one, the propaganda playbook, and it got us this result, okay? And basically I could sell this for a bunch of money, but it's yours for free, so go grab it, right? And I tell them what to do, which is reply, playbook, and I'll DM it to you. That is a perfect CTA on a free CTA, okay? You get the idea. Next and final is the personal philosophy. This is like the purest form of who you are. A lot of people mess this up, and they mess this up because they only do this. They only do philosophical based stuff. You can do value stuff, and you can do storytelling stuff, and you can do viral stuff that ties into the personal philosophy. The personal philosophy bleeds into everything. But if there's some political stuff that you have and you want to talk about it here. It probably blends into viral, the culture bomb, that sort of thing. But basically, this is your beliefs, your principles, and your polarizing thoughts all summed up into one. Okay, so people don't just buy results, they buy into who you are. Not just what you do, not just what you own, your material items, not just the results that you've gotten. They buy into who you are and how you think. They want to be like you. So they want to work with people they trust, and agree with. And you can see I do this here, extreme hater of all things, not extremely elite. A lot of the content has this. I tell people who I am. And then below this, I link right to my YouTube directly in the bio. And then there's a pinned tweet right below this. This is on Twitter, obviously, that says who I am, what I've done, etc. And then they keep scrolling and they see a bunch of the personal philosophy stuff. If they click on the YouTube thing, they then go to the YouTube channel where there's a bunch of personal philosophy stuff. If they click on the playbook and go in there, I then retarget them with a bunch of ads, just like I'm going to retarget you with a bunch of ads when you grab the playbook below this video that push my personal philosophy. They also push all these other elements and pieces that we're talking about here, because all of these are important. You don't just want or need one of these. You don't just need your personal philosophy. You don't just need results. One of these can carry you for sure. Like if you have a lot of viral content, it can carry you. You're going to get a buyer. But then you stack up all these pieces. And these are the full pieces that somebody needs to have and understand about you for them to buy. If they don't have all of these, you're lacking a piece of your funnel. You're lacking a piece of your indoctrination. You're lacking a principle that it hasn't been triggered in somebody's brain. And psychologically, they're not fully trusting of you yet until all these boxes are checked. That's why the easiest buyers are the people that have been following you for a few years or a few months, depending on how much content you post. Those are the easiest people to sell to because they know all of these and they're deeply embedded, okay? But there's a couple things you should never do. Never chase trends. Like you can tap into trends, but never chase a trend that isn't authentically you. Never overshare authenticity that's going to kill your mystery. If you overshare who you are and you just let everything out there, people have nothing to kind of wonder about. You want people to wonder. You want people to click on your long form content. You want people to join your email list. You want people to pay you. They should find the answers to the mystery inside of your product or inside of the longer form pieces of content, and they should be rewarded for watching that stuff, which is where they find out more information about who is this guy. They see you in a tweet, who is this guy? This seems interesting. They go and click on the video, they find out more, okay? Never fake a lifestyle built on credit and insecurity or other random things. Don't flex your friend's Lambo if it's not your Lambo. You can say, hey, I test drove this today and it was cool and it was fun and I enjoyed it, but it's not mine, it's my friend's. Don't pretend it's yours. That is stupid. That's kind of gay. Never overeducate, just indoctrinate. If I sat here and I said, okay, guys, all right, so here's how to write your personal philosophy hook. You're gonna be like, dude, this shit's boring. Like, I don't care. So I'm not educating you right now. I'm just telling you what you need to do. I'm indoctrinating you to believe that these principles are important because these principles are the things that have made us millions and millions of dollars and our clients millions and millions of dollars. Never open source everything. You do need some exclusivity. So I'm not gonna lie to you right now. I'm not giving you everything in the YouTube. I can't because one, people wouldn't understand it. And two, it probably would be impossible because there's always the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And again, there needs to be some level of mystery. There needs to be some level of, okay, I'm gonna purchase for this thing that's exclusive, okay? So obviously the free content's great. You're gonna want the exclusive thing. You're gonna want the paid thing. That's inside. If you open source everything, it's very, very difficult for you to actually get buyers because you're just educating all day. You step into this teacher frame of reference and people don't give a shit. They're like, all right, he's a cool teacher, but he's not an expert. He is not the guy. You need to be the guy. The guy is somebody with an exclusive package to sell you. Next and final here of nevers is never beg for validation. Never be inconsistent and show up every single day. So never sit here and say, oh, I don't know why my stuff isn't performing. It's probably not performing because it's not good enough and you didn't post enough. So show up every day, never be inconsistent. Basically, you need to do all these principles every single day. Well, how much should I CTA? Well, you should CTA about twice a day, which means you probably need 10 to 20 or 30 pieces of content to CTA below or in, okay? Now, finally, I created a free playbook teaching all these principles and the entire propaganda system. It's all the systems I use to grow 6.8 million followers and collect 15.7 million cash for myself and higher ticket profit share clients. So that link is below, guys. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you watching. I want you to know that these things will change your content. These things right here that we just went over will make your content print money, okay? Predictably. If you do all of these, you do them on a consistent basis every single day, there's no reality where you don't grow at least a little bit. You don't get at least some interest from some clients. And truthfully, if you execute all these for just a few months in a row, you should be at a minimum of 20K a month if you're starting from zero. And if you've already scaled up, you should be able to maintain a consistent 6 figures per month as long as you're doing all of these things. So look, I appreciate you being here. I've got a lot more videos coming. My name is Nick. I'm the owner of Launch Socials. I will see you guys in the next one.